Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Professor Dr. Rizwan Jamil Qureshi. Today, my topic of coverage is about software process models. Software process models are also called methodologies, and we already defined the methodologies in the topic in this video when we cover the software engineering definition. That methodology is the standard procedures in a company to analyze, design, and implement the software system. So, all the methodologies have three common phases. They must have planning, they must have analysis, design, and implementation. So, planning is implicit, and analysis, design, and implementation are the explicit. And we have SDLC phases. So each methodology has SDLC, system development life cycle, and that's the traditional procedures in a company to develop, maintain, and replace the software system. So that's some review about the methodology and the SDLC. And what is the difference between methodology and SDLC? That's also covered in the previous videos when I covered the software engineering definition. That each company has its customized methodology, so it becomes its tradition. So it's traditional procedures to develop, to maintain, and replace the software system. We have two main types of methodologies. We have structured methodologies and we have object-oriented methodologies. I'm covering structured methodologies today. Why we call them structured? Because they are proposed for structured development, structured software development. So the tool we are using is structured. For example, C or COBOL or Pascal or Fortran or Visual Basic, ASP. So we call them structured methodologies. And the most common structured methodologies are waterfall, prototype, RAD, rapid application development, and the spiral or incremental. Waterfall is the first methodology proposed in the history of software engineering in 1970s by W. Rice. So he introduced the idea of waterfall methodology. We also call it linear sequential methodology. We also call it classical methodology, and it is still in practice from 1970s till 2020. And you will find that in the latest books of software engineering, and the waterfall methodology is there. So there are some very strong features and potentials are there because of this methodology is not obsolete. It is still in practice to date. Waterfall, as I told you, there are names, other names. We call it linear sequential, or we call it classical methodology. Waterfall has, for example, there are two versions. One is the version that is proposed by W. Rice, and it is composed of several activities. We call it project identification and selection. We have project is the first phase. We identify potential projects based on the requirements of the company, because of the requirements of the customer, because of the requirements of the end users. So we have project identification activities that I will cover inshallah in another video, because today my scope of the video is about the methodologies. So we identify potential projects and we select the most suitable project based on the budget, schedule, resources, technology, or ease of implementation. So there are several factors. On the base of that, any of that, customer can decide which methodology, which of the projects he will select first. So project identification and selection is the first phase of waterfall, in which we identify the potential projects by the customer, by end users, by employees, and by customers. Customers has customer. So customers of the customer can recommend, can desire, can acquire for a project. For example, if I talk about King Abdulaziz University, we have several projects in queue or pipeline that we need. For example, we don't have automatic timetable scheduling system. We have manual scheduling system. We need attendance system. We don't have automatic attendance system. We need examination system. We need exam question bank system, in which we can have pool of questions and we can generate automatic papers. Even the instructor shouldn't know what the exam paper is coming. So that's the project identification. And then customer, like King Abdulaziz University is the customer for software company. King Abdulaziz University can decide which of the projects they want to select and they want to start initialize. So then we have project initialization and planning. In the project initialization, we as a customer send a request, system SSR, system service request. There are several templates of system service request, uh, but most of the books I found, like Modern System Analysis and Design, or we have by Shelley Cashman, or System Analysis and Design by Hoffer, Modern System Analysis and Design by Hoffer, by Shelley Cashman, by Witten and Bentley. We have several books on system analysis and design, and I found the template in which we have the company name, like King of the University, the person who is asking the software company to visit to entertain the request to initialize the project, and then the status of the project, it's urgent, or it's in the maintenance, or it's a normal scratch based project, uh, immediate, urgent. Then the problem statement is there. I will show you inshallah in another video about the template, one of the templates which I have used in my books about software engineering. So I have written 6 books. You can find over the Amazon about those books. Uh, so this template, the SSR's request is sent to different software companies like Microsoft, Oracle, SAP, or any private company. Then the software companies, after receiving the request, they have the planning. So project initialization and planning is the second phase of waterfall. So they do planning. uh, the planning is like foundation of a building, or we can say, we have a quote, we have a saying about 5000 BC: plan before begin to solve any problem. It doesn't apply not only it not doesn't apply only not only for it doesn't apply it's not only for software engineering. It can apply on any field, like mechanical, electrical, management sciences. So it's applied for all fields. Even for daily life, you want to have a trip to Medina or Makkah, or from, like, you are based on whatever the location, like Pakistan. I am based in Lahore, so I plan to go to even Islamabad, which is the capital of Pakistan. I have to plan my trip, or even for lecture, or even for this video, I need to plan that what are the contents I'm going to cover. Or like I'm a instructor, normally I teach courses related to software engineering, like software engineering course, software engineering 1, or I have courses like software economics, or now I have course in master, like advanced object oriented software engineering, or sometime I have course like software design pattern. So or component based software engineering, uh, web engineering. I need to plan my lectures, that what are the contents I'm going to cover in the first lecture, then second, so on, till the end of the semester, to complete the course learning outcomes and the student outcomes. The course objectives should be met. Then, based on planning is like, as I say, you have to plan that what are the main requirements you need to deal with during the project. So the software company has to pay a visit to the customer to collect basic requirements, initialize initial requirements, so they can plan something and they can have submit project specs that I already covered in my previous video. So they can have the project introduction, they can have the feasibilities, economic, technical, operational, and the schedule. And based on that, the customer will decide that the benefits are long term. So we have tangible benefits, we have intangible benefits. The tangible, which can be measured in monetary values, and intangible, which cannot be directly measured in monetary values, but they have impact on the tangible benefits, like customer satisfaction will help to increase the sale, efficiency and performance, and employees morale will help you to increase the productivity of the company, and time saving, cost saving. So then the cost, project cost, technical feasibility cost, operational feasibility cost. So the cost benefit analysis sheet, and customer can decide which of the company has better project specs, and then the customer can sign the contract with the software company. There's one thing I would like to mention, that based on my experiences, software company has to submit a token money before submitting the proposal, to show their seriousness, that they are serious in this project. So after having the presentations by the project manager or the system analyst of the software company, then the customer decides which of the company is going to do the project, is going to win the project. So only that company, software company, token money is kept, and the rest of the companies which are refused or rejected, their token money is returned. So as a security, the software company who is going to sign the contract, they have to submit a token money, and their token money is kept with the customer. So in case of something goes wrong, they can have that money. So they sign a contract with the software company like Microsoft, or Oracle, or SAP, or like in any private company like NetSol in Pakistan, or System Limited in Pakistan, or Innovative Solutions. So then the analysis phase is there. So third phase of waterfall model is the analysis. As I already covered in my previous videos, that analysis is the comparison of the existing system with the new system to collect detailed requirements. So we have initial requirements at the planning level, and we have detailed requirements at the analysis level. Then result of analysis is the function specs, or SRS, system requirement specification, that I already covered in my previous videos. So we have analysis, and result of the analysis, the functional specs is there. And then the next phase of waterfall model is the design. The design is composed of, I already covered the end of the design phase, the design specs, or we call it collectively the function specs and design specs together, software companies call it technical specs. So design normally composed of interface specs, as I mentioned in my previous video. Interface specs is composed of form name, or report name, or purpose, or the operating system, or the environment, type of user, screenshot, and then the speed, accuracy, user satisfaction. So these are the interface specs. And then we have the hierarchical charts in case of structure, because we are doing structure. So structure has hierarchical charts, dialogue diagrammings, and we have schema, as we discussed in my previous video. Schema is the logical grouping of database objects such as tables. So logical schema is done at the analysis level. In the analysis, you covered only the ERD, and the normalization is done in the design phase. And then you have the physical schema, in which you have the you construct the database, and you construct the tables and the fields, and then the external schema is there. And then we have algorithm designing, we have pseudocode, flowchart, decision table, decision tree, NS diagram. And flowchart is the most widely used technique because it's easy to draw. And then you have, after the design, the next phase, the implementation. In the implementation, you have to do the coding, and you have to do the testing. As I already mentioned the definition of testing in my previous video, testing is a process to identify bugs in the system. So a good tester should identify maximum bugs. So that coding, we have coding techniques are there, like we are doing structured program, structured analysis, structured methodology we are implementing. So structured tool is there. So using C or COBOL or Pascal or Fortran, you code, and then you do the testing. And after the testing, we have maintenance. You do maintenance. Maintenance is a process to fix the bugs and update or upgrade the system. So these are the main phases of waterfall model: project identification and selection, project initialization and planning, analysis, design, implementation, and the maintenance. So first phase, project identification and selection. Second phase, project initialization and planning, analysis. Third phase, design. Fourth phase, implementation. Fifth phase, maintenance is the sixth phase. So these are the 6 phases of waterfall methodology. There is another version which is called customized version of the waterfall, later on by the different professionals, which has communication is the first phase. Then you have the modeling. Modeling is composed of analysis and design, communication, and then planning. Communication, you do communication to do the planning. So initial requirements, then you can submit the project specs. Communication is the first phase, planning is the second phase, modeling is the third phase. Modeling is composed of analysis and design. Construction is the next phase, and then deployment. So construction has coding, testing, maintenance, and then you deploy. So these are the second version, or the customized version of the waterfall. There are several features of waterfall. We have some strengths, we have some pros and cons are there. As pros and advantages of waterfall, it is the most comprehensive model proposed in the history of software engineering, because it has so many phases: implicit phases and explicit phases. Project identification and selection, project initialization and planning, analysis, logical design, physical design, and implementation and maintenance. So most comprehensive model proposed in the history of software engineering. And then it's for the beginners, it's the most comprehensive to understand the system development life cycle phases. It is the most suitable for research projects, because in the research projects you don't have time and cost constraints are there. For research, even like NASA used waterfall methodology for their Mars mission. So even in my master thesis, I use waterfall methodology. So waterfall methodology doesn't have time constraints, cost constraint, because you have a research project. And it is also most suitable when the requirements are similar to previously completed projects. Then you don't need to have too much changes in the code and too much changes in the requirements. So it's a similar, like from BMW to Mercedes, it's very easy because the requirements are similar except the few differences. Or BMW Germany to UK, UK to USA, USA to Australia, Australia to Taiwan, Korea, India. So requirements, there are few requirements like country tax systems are different, some customers social risks are there, social constraints are there, customs are different. So other than that, in terms of leasing or Taxid software, it's very easy. The installments process is there. So its requirements are similar to previous. So you can use waterfall methodology for such projects. Let's talk about constraints. As it is proposed in 1970s, in 1980s, software industry was grooming and growing and we have a proper software industry in USA and advanced countries. And somehow some companies in Pakistan ever started. I remember there was a company System Limited, and there was Crestsoft by Crescent Group. These are the initial pioneers of software companies in Pakistan. Our Technologics is there, which is also like a leader or one of the leaders or pioneers in the field of software in Pakistan. So such companies were growing and beginning. So when waterfall methodology, as it was proposed, most of the software companies, majority of the companies, they rejected straightforward. So because of that, the reason, uh, there are too much verification. Every phase in waterfall methodology is going back to the previous phase. So there is too much verification, rework. Uh, so verification needs time and cost. And software companies, the most common problems in software companies is that cost and time shortage is there. They always have less time because customer always force them to have unrealistic deadlines imposed by the customer. So they don't have too much time and cost. And waterfall methodology demands to have rework, like you have project identification selection, and then you have project initialization and planning. You go back to project identification and selection, you move to the plan analysis, you go back to the planning phase, you go to the design, logical design, go back to the analysis, you go to the physical design, go back to the logical design, you go to the implementation, go back to the physical design, you go to the maintenance, go back to the implementation. So there is a lot of verification cycles are there, and that needs time, extra cost, extra effort, extra resources. So straightforward, software company straightforward rejected it. So time constraints and cost constraints are there because so many activities needs time, and there are too much verification. Another problem with the waterfall methodology, that the customer can see the working version in the second last phase during implementation. If a software company has misunderstood the requirements, then or customer is unable to explain clearly the requirements, so ambiguity or unclear requirements are there, or some missing requirements are there in the implementation, so that can have a disaster or failure, because that means you need to go back to the second phase, the planning. So you go back to the planning again. That means project, who will give you so much time to do planning and then analysis and then design, logical design, physical design, and then the coding. That means project will be failed. Another problem, waterfall methodology demands to collect all requirements in the second phase, third phase, like analysis, in one shot. So customer cannot give you, it's unrealistic, it's impractical that customer can give you all requirements in one shot, because customer also doesn't know about the complete information or complete requirements about the project, because as he started using, then new requirements are raised, and then he can give you some requirement like, I need this function, I need this interface, I need this report, and I need this integration, blah blah blah. So as the information about the project grows, as the project grows, so it's unrealistic, impractical. It can work only for research projects, because you can go back to the previous phase and you can have the rework, recollect the requirements, and then you can change the design, and then you can go back to the requirements. So it works for research projects, or we can say safety critical projects where human life risks are involved, like flight control system, or for example fire alarming system, or for example nuclear reactor control system. So in such cases you can use a waterfall to collect all requirement, because fundamental requirement of safety critical projects, that you have to freeze the requirement, and you have to collect all requirements in one shot and freeze them, and that's exactly matching with the waterfall. Collect all requirements in the third phase during the analysis, and no change. So that's impractical for commercial projects because requirements are continuously coming and continuously changing. So you cannot apply it for commercial projects because of all requirements you can collect in one shot. That means maybe you need 2 years, 3 years to do only the analysis to collect all requirements. I remember the case of an American company which has a project. It's called Great Project for Property Estate Business ERP system, and there was Indian company involved. Its name is Infosys, and the project manager start collecting the requirements because he thought it's an ERP system. So he wasted 2 years to collect all requirements in one shot. Finally, customer was frustrated, and customer said, "Where is the software? We want to use it." So they cancel the project, and they have to Infosys has to pay a penalty to the American property state business company. So it's impractical that you can collect all requirements in one shot. Another problem of waterfall methodology, that the team has to work for so long period like 2 years, 3 years, and meanwhile the team members can switch, because software companies switching is very common, because as you get better salary, better designation, you move from one company to another company. So that's some of the problems of the waterfall. It's working version is available very late, fundamental requirement, and that's enough for today. Inshallah, I will cover the prototype, which is the next methodology proposed in the structured software development. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum.